Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video in this series of learning HTMX and Go, building a custom web application, a Pastebin basically. And in my previous video, I had stopped at rethinking Jamstack with HTMX, which is a very important aspect of this series. So the thing which HTMX really excels at is basically reimagining the good old HTML days. So your server, instead of sending out JSON responses and you having two separate entities that interact with each other through a middleman like React, you remove that altogether. So your server directly sends out HTML, and this is the foundation of HTML as the state management, whatever HATEOS stands for, which let's actually see. So last time I also forgot to display how you can get reference on HTMX. So this is the HTMX website, and they have a really good documentation which I recommend you go through. That is how I learned, that's how most people learn, and the documentation is excellent. But we are not going to be using the documentation in our day-to-day development. We will be using the reference. Now, the reference is sort of an API reference of everything that exists in HTMX. So this is what we will be using. So with that being said, they have an excellent article on HATEOS, which let me see. Where did they sort of oh, I guess the wiki entry is what we'll be going by then. Hypermedia as the engine of application state, or HATEOS, is a constraint of the REST application architecture, right? And this is a huge thing in HTMX. We'll be going through that in some time as well. So, rethinking the Jamstack with HTMX. So, what really happens in the backend? We usually respond with a JSON API and then render the HTML on the client, or hydration as it's called, right? But why is this hydration really necessary? What if we could just send HTML from the server natively? And that is what HTMX allows us to do. And remember, whenever I'm talking about HTMX allows us to do it, I'm not talking about some API or SDK of HTMX that allows us to do it. HTMX just allows us to inject interactivity into the HTML we send without having to do a bunch of gymnastics over it, right? So in a traditional to-do app, like I'm sure anyone has built a to-do app at some point in their development journey, we have a traditional JSON API that would send to-dos in a list, right? Really simple, really this thing. But what if we could just send out natively rendered HTML instead? We are all familiar with the unordered list element, right? Why can't we just send list items directly? How cool would that be? Then that is what is HATEOS, right? So how would you do that in HTMX? It's as simple as this. You swap out the outer HTML of UL, and hx target is slash todos, which you can put inside the UL someplace and get the slash todos. As simple as that. And that is what we'll be showcasing today. And moving on to the next slide, I forgot to add a next. And we'll be doing this through templating. Now, when I first started HTMX with Go, I would be surprised why people would recommend it, because I would hard code the HTML as a string or read it from a file, which would make my life so hard. But then someone on Reddit introduced me to templating, and it changed my life. So, or at least how I how I interact with HTMX. Right. So most modern server-side languages have their own templating engines. If you have used Django in the past, you know of the Django templating framework. If you have used Flask, you know of Jinja 2, and PHP has PHP, JavaScript has JSX, which we use for React, and Go has HTML/template, which is a native library, which is included, a standard library, which is included with all Go installations. And templating with HTMX would be a breeze because it would send HTML responses easily in the template itself. So the way you would use Go templating is quite simple, and I made a messy example of that in the previous video where I extended the base.html and I got confused with extends and template. So yeah, so this is an example of index.temple. Traditionally templates are named .temple in Go, but I will just be naming them .html because I want to avoid the confusion and I want some cool syntax highlighting. So yeah, this is how you would send the responses, and the messages can be anything that supports Go's print trait or whatever that is. I don't think Go has that. I think I'm talking about Rust. I'm not sure of this, so it's fine. Yeah, it just prints out the messages. We'll be using that to render this template. So this video is just dedicated to getting our template set up, making our first HTMX request from the database, and just displaying all of our pastes. We'll have one paste, for example. So yeah, let's get started. Right, so I am once again in the files of our project. I have made some changes to it. Basically, I added a route that can get all of the pastes for us, which is in the store. So if I just go there, here it is. So it selects everything from pastes and then queries it and returns a type paste that looks something like this. So it's paste ID, username, content, language, and created at. Right, really simple, really cool. So what we are supposed, and let me actually show you how these templating engines work actually. So if I go to paste.html, so you can see I am inheriting from paste.html, and over the range of dot pastes I'm printing the username and the content. But there's a small problem. Our paste table depends upon the users table. So before we can do anything, we will need to have to create the user side of things. But I don't want to get into the whole fiasco right about now. So what we will be doing quite simply is opening up a PSQL instance, and this is, we're just selecting everything from the users. If you're familiar with SQL, this seems familiar. And then we are inserting into users values of username is node, full name is science, bio is here, mail is no 123 at whatever, password is blah blah blah, that and that. Right, so now if I select everything, you'll see that I have a username called loop. Using that, we will insert into pastes the values. Actually, I need the schema of it, so let me select everything from pastes. Okay, there we go. So now we'll insert into pastes the values of paste ID. Should be, no, I don't think it is auto generated, so let me just do a random one there. Username is the noob, content is blah blah blah, lang is Python, and created at should be automatic. Right, so now if I do that, there we go, we get that. And now hopefully when I exit out of the server, run make run, I have already set up the event handler. So going to /pastes should hopefully get us to paste.html unless we have some errors. So go /pastes, and yep, our first error, paste.html is undefined. Alright, did I do something? Oh, right, that's just paste.html, not pastes. Uh, Actually, I don't think we'll be needing that slide server anymore. There we go. Now, there we go. We have noob and blah 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 blah. So now we know our templating works. And if you're not understanding what just happened here, we got all of our databases from get all pastes, and we basically sent a paste of those everything. So essentially, I can now use paste.html as a, what do I call it, like a basic HTMX component, as I like to call it. Now this is not like official terminology, so please don't quote me on it, but this is essentially how we can send out the pastes. So if I go to index.html, you remember us sending a get request to the ping on the trigger and replacing hello, right? What if we now replace pastes to that, right? And now go to our home page and wait for that to load, and we have our first error, I guess. Well, did I send the request to the wrong URL, or no? It is slash pastes. I don't know. Hmm. I mean, try sending one to pastes. Well, yeah, it is working. So maybe I just need to restart the server. Oh no, no, not that. Make run restart the server and is it because we have no trigger? Yeah, that's because we have no trigger. So let me just specify click as the trigger, and now when you click hello world, there we go, we get the content. So we have essentially created a reusable pastes.html component that we can use anywhere. And actually, let us make this sort of sudoist. So we can go into the db.go and say a new func of pq, which inherits from the db instance, that says get pastes by author, or username, get pastes by username, which takes in a username as an argument, and well, returns a slice of pastes and an error. And the query would go something like select star. Yep, so that's perfect. And if error is not null, return that. Var paste is paste. Excellent. For rows.next. Yep. Oh, GitHub Copilot did most of the stuff for me. That's really cool. So now let's go up. Say get pastes by user name. That's what we meant. Hopefully that's the right one. Get paste by username. Yeah, that's what we did. And all you nim chats, please don't judge me for using the mouse and nim. I just find it convenient. Handle get pastes by username. Right, and hopefully you see a pattern in the way I'm writing code here. So user pastes and error is c.py. Yeah, if there's an error, say repeating pastes, and if not, you return pastes if pastes. And there you go, and we go. Yeah. Now hopefully, when I restart the server, replace by username undefined. Oh no. Oh, I did not see that. Uh, dot get pastes by username. That's weird. No, I did give you the argument. You just need to accept it. Make run again. Store value missing, get paste by username. Okay, so that one was correct here, but we did a small spelling mistake here, where if I go down, that's get pastes, but here I said get paste. So get pastes. Now hopefully make run should run. What? Once again, get paste. Oh my god. See, this is what happens sometimes from GitHub Copilot. This thing, I trust it way too much sometimes. And yeah, now hopefully we can go paste slash noob. And there we get all of noob's pastes, which is awesome. Right, so we have essentially, uh, without doing anything, just got pastes from our database. And this is what I meant by using HTML as the state. We are not getting all the pastes by username from our client. We are instead sending it through Go, and we are sort of reusing paste.html, although we don't need to do that. But yeah, I'm sure you get the gist of it. And if I currently say view source right here, you'll see that this is the same thing we sent it, but it was natively being rendered right here. So that in a sense is HATEOS and what that stands for. Right. So let us now handle a form in HTMX and show you how that is done basically. So yeah, we can now go to our database and go all the way down, and say func pq, which is actually, before we do that, let's actually go and make a type called create paste request. I know that sounds JSON-y, but it's just habit. Content and lang is all I'll be needing, right? So you now go to db.go, start entering, which pq is a db instance, and here we can say create paste, right? Which takes in a request which is of the type create paste request, and that returns uh, just returns an error, because what else? We just want that to be acknowledged. And oh, this is so good. And a small mistake though, rec has no paste ID there, so we go ran hash. Hopefully, yeah, there's no rec.username as well. Uh, we just go like username, which will be provided from the context, and string, oh no, or username, there we go. And yeah, ran hash requires the, hopefully let's scroll up, and 50 was the limit, so let's start small with around like 10. How about that? Right. And now we just add to the interface uh, what create paste, which accepts a string, and a create paste request and returns an error. Perfect. Now let's go to our api.go. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So it's not necessary we have two different routes for it. Maybe we can have like a post version of the route, but basically we need one route to just send out the raw form, which in this case I'll just use index.html for that, and we need one route to actually handle the creation of the paste. So we can say handle paste creation, which should actually be a protected authenticated route. We'll get into authentication in the next section, right? So this for now just accepts a gin.context, right? And remember, uh, in the next post, in the next tutorial where we implement authentication, the username will be in the gen.context only, but in this case I'm defining it natively just for this case. Right, so for now it is no. Right, and now the paste is oh sorry, it's not paste, it's a create paste request. And this is not paste, that's rec. Right, so create paste request. The first one is the content, which is c dot post form content, and the lang, which is c dot post from lang. Right, actually, yes, this will be a bad way to do it. We'll get to the good parts later. It's fine. And no, it does not return a paste. All it needs is an error. If the error is null, error declaring paste. If not, c dot string paste created. That's it. Maybe later on we can return like a paste hash as well. But this demonstration is just to show what's possible. Right, and post of create paste. I know bad naming, but it's fine. uh, index.html, there you already do have the pastes, and I don't that's fine. Maybe we need that for verification. That's good. So yeah, so now we have a form that, no, it does not take in any action. No, it does not take in any action. And if we check out the HTMX reference on forms, where is that? Ajax post. There you go. I guess that's all you need to do. So for now, you only need to have a form, and we have like two inputs, right? Uh, we can configure the cool stuff later on. Uh, this like placeholder for this will be enter the content, right? Or maybe this can be like a text area for better legibility, and I'm actually just remove that to say this text area with the name content, id content, uh, placeholder, enter text. For now, we'll improve it. Don't worry. Uh, Name is lang. ID is lang. Enter language. Right. Uh, Yep, here now in the form itself. Now this step is important because that will give HTMX the context that this is a form that it needs to post, right? So that it can say slash create paste, or hopefully that's what I named it, slash submit. And before that, however, let's set up a result field. Right, so we can actually do some stuff with it. So now we say hx target, and yeah, I'm actually working on setting up the Primogen's HTMX LSP. He has a really well made LSP for that, but it needs some tweaking for my own personal use. So currently doing that, and hopefully now if we restart the server, press that, there we go. Let's keep our console handy so we can keep checking stuff. This is so cool and awesome that we can do it, right? And language is Python. Submit that, and what happened? Nothing happened. The trigger was clicked. Oh. What seems to be the problem? Let create pastes respond with 404. Yeah, no, that is slash create paste. Sure. Interesting. What really seems to be the problem? Oh, I think it's console.log. Oh, you had a target error. Oh, that's results. Okay. Yeah. Pro tip, read the result. Yeah, but that still does not seem to be successful. Paste was created, so now I can. Oh, there you go. This is so cool and awesome. Awesome. So essentially, we have created what we wanted to. And this paste is as extendable as you want it to. So instead of like username, you can have the lang here, and all of that will dynamically update, right? Or you can even have created at, for all I know. See, that's a native time object that is recognizable by JavaScript, because JavaScript's time recognition engine is very awesome. So we have essentially replaced React use state, use effect, on clicks, on forms, everything. So how cool was that? Right. So we have done what we had to. Let's actually go over a review of what all we did. And yeah, so first things first, in the api.go, now we have three new functions: slash paste from the username and create pastes. The create paste actually needs to be authenticated, but yeah, let me actually add a comment there so I don't forget. Yeah, so this actually has to be from c dot not request, what's that called, like context or whatever that is, from session or cookie or something, like, yeah, something. We'll probably take a session cookie and get the username from there. That we'll be doing in the next one, so stay tuned for that. And let's go over what we learned in HTMX. So we have learned how to create a form in HTMX. So it's as easy as this. All HTMX needs is the context that this is a form element, and it'll do the rest properly. The trigger was a click and the target was a result, which caused an inadvertent error. Right. And we also have a paste that shows us all the cool pastes, right? We can probably add like a toggle later on. So this is all very rudimentary UI, and we want this to look pretty. So for like like I don't know, like our final goal here, or at least so that you guys can visualize what we are trying to build here, I already have a project that's natively built using only HTMX and Go basically, and PostgreSQL, which is very similar to this. Which, although this is one of my favorite projects because I spent a lot of time on this, and this is what mainly helped me learn HTMX. I'll be leaving a link to this down below, and it also uses Tailwind, and that's just the Tailwind output class. We want nothing to do with this. But let me quickly start up a server so you actually see what's up. And was there any change since the last time? Do I really need to rebuild the binary? No, I don't think there was much. So I can just go /bin/nuplex.exe. That should start up a blazingly fast Go server on port 3579. So now if I go to localhost, actually let's open that up in a new one. Localhost 3579. Alright, I actually have some browser cookies that make it weird. So this is Nooptext, which is the fastest random paste service on the web. Right, and this is created with HTMX the right way. As you can see, the moment we enter, since there was no context given to us, this directly redirects us to the about page. And if I keep checking my storage cookies, as you can, there is no cookie right now. We go to login. Actually, I already do have a user here called Noob, and I enter in his password, super secret password. Check the cookies. We have a token. And this uses something called JWT authentication, which we will not be using in our current site because this actually got like an upgrade. So JWT authentication, if you don't know, is client side based. So the client sends a token that is verified by the server. Whereas what we want to do is we want the client to have no part at all in the authentication. We want everything to be done by the server. Right, so as you can see in this, I set the token and the username locally, and I natively check the cookies to have this cool little nav bar there. Right, so these are all the posts done by Noob. So this is actually his account route, right? So these are all the posts he has done. He can edit the posts out if he wants to. Yeah, he has this cool little thing there. He can even delete the post if he wants to. So let's say he wants to delete the secretary bird post. Will be prompted. He says okay, and that's deleted. As simple as that. Goes to account, he goes to noob text, he enters in the name, we go hello, and he just types out I am writing this like a Go and HTMX chat. He creates that, he gets the ID, and this is how it looks like. This really damn simple. He also has like a really good search. So we search for HTMX, we get HTMX. No more React stuff, no more dynamic this thing. This is just pure native HTML, if you may. And which honestly feels cool, and this adheres to the REST API principle. So we have a get wherever we want, we have a delete wherever we want to, and it's all really cool and awesome. So this is what we ultimately plan on building. So stay tuned for that. We will get there. We will do that. And the code is available on GitHub, by the way. I'll be linking it down below, so you can check out and you can contribute to this if you like. And just look at this perfect ratio of languages. 50% Go, 50% HTML. Do you want this? I know you do. So stay tuned. In the next one, we'll be talking about actually building up the UI, right? Authentication and stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one. Stay tuned for the next one. Tata and goodbye.